Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Married at First Sight. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. But before we begin, I would like for everyone to check out my website, La Vida Rosa Style, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing right now. The link is below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. First things first, before I get into this mess, I saw a preview with Miles and Karen for Couples Cam. And just to see the cast, who they have on there, they got Miles and Imani, they got Deanna and Greg, they got Jeff D and Shanice, they got Jamie and Doug. They got a bunch of people on there that I actually like to watch. So y'all let me know down below if y'all would like for me to review those episodes as well. I believe it starts in February. I think that's a show I'll actually be willing to tune into. So y'all let me know if y'all want me to review that. So second of all, before I get into the couples, usually I don't talk about the producers unless they're like featured on camera, like maybe a cast member gets into it with the producer. I think we all know that producers do a lot of manipulating, and it's a lot of people behind the scenes that are actually making the decisions, and the people on camera take the fall for it because they are the figures that are put on the front line. I mean, that's like the main point of the show, is the experts pick the people to take part in this experiment. I'm not saying that they're not actually experts or, you know, are not skilled in that area. You know, they have degrees and stuff to back that up. They're getting paid by a show that wants things to go a certain way. So, you know, usually I just go along with that idea because that's the way you're presenting it to me. That's the way I'm gonna go along with it. I don't like to overthink reality TV too much. It's like supposed to be kind of like mindless entertainment. So I play along, but this time around with Chris, I feel like they're taking it a little bit too far. And whoever casted Chris, whoever gave it a stamp of approval for him to make it through and to marry Paige, I'm disgusted. Like, I'm just disgusted that they actually let someone with this many red flags, someone who is this unprepared to be a husband, to actually come in here and marry this girl who is clearly all in. She's taking the fact that she got accepted for this experience as a sign from God. That's how serious she's taking this. And for y'all to match her up with Chris, I might play a joke around in my reviews and in the comments, but hearing everything that Chris had to say this episode, I feel like it was a step too far to set Paige up the way they did. But anyway, I'm not even gonna start with them. I'm gonna get some people out the way. We already seen 3 couples marriages already, so I'm just gonna get them out of the way. We love Brianna and Vincent, you know what I'm saying? They're just finishing off their fairy tale wedding day, you know what I'm saying? And some people are like, fairy tale. When I say fairy tale, I mean like the wedding went off without a hitch. They had so much chemistry. They seemed to get along with each other's family. She is like completely enamored with him, and he seems like he is with her as well. And it just ended on a great note. This was a great match. This is a time where the experts did a good job matching somebody. They seem highly compatible. One of the moments that stuck out to me is when Vincent was talking to Brianna's dad. Her daddy looked like he do not play at all. That could just be his disposition. He might just have that kind of face that looks like he's angry, but he's really just chilling. Vincent was trying to let him know that he just wants to make Brianna happy and have a marriage that will last and take care of her. And the dad seemed to be very receptive to him, even though he looked skeptical. His words said that he was open to Vincent. And later on, Brianna said that she was willing to take his last name as soon as possible. So I thought that was cute. They, their wedding night, they didn't really show much from their wedding night. They seemed like they, just gonna get into bed and cuddle. But yeah, that was a beautiful little wedding they have. They're like my only hope pretty much from this season. Let's move on to Clara and Ryan. Once again, she's talking way too much. Like, once they get up to the hotel room for their little, first night, I mean, she is just going on and on about her hair and how it has so many pins in it. I'm gonna be taking these out for days. And I guess she had a little fake braid back there. Girl, you weren't paying attention when they were doing your hair. How did you not know you had a fake braid in your hair today? Like, I refuse to believe she didn't know that. I mean, everything is just a new opportunity for her to just complain, and it's so irritating. And at first I thought maybe Ryan would be able to, like, I feel like Ryan would look past that for whatever reason, but it seemed like that's gonna get on his nerves. He just seems to be over the fact that she does this all day every day, even though they only known each other one day. It was this all day. And then on top of that, he seems to have never committed to anyone, so that bothers her that he's never actually said I love you to anyone. But I don't know, like, when people are judgmental of people who's never said I love you to someone, I think that's kind of like, you can't say that he's incapable of it just because he's never found that one. What if you are that one? I mean, I think it would be very special if you were the first person that he's ever loved. You know what I'm saying? Let's move on to Virginia and Erik. First of all, every time we see a clip of Virginia, she has a drink in her hand, and she's very drunk, disheveled, okay? Hair a mess. It looks like her makeup is running. Yeah, it looks like she's had a long night of partying. Erik sat down with her mother. He was gushing about her and saying how much he was attracted to her, and her mom said she was very proud of her for taking part in an experiment that is very non-traditional. Clearly, we can see her mom is not that traditional with these purple streaks in her hair. I think they were trying to edit their scene to make it look like it was confrontational, but what they were saying didn't sound confrontational. Like, he's traditional and her family is not traditional. I feel like they are gonna butt heads at some point, but it don't seem like at that very moment they were, and it seemed like they were trying to force it and make us believe that they were. It was weird. That whole scene was edited weird. When they went to their little hotel room, they were all over each other, so I would not be surprised if their marriage is consummated by the next time that we see them. In the long run, I still don't think they're gonna work out because they're just two different people, totally different places in their lives. So let's move on to Haley and Jacob. They had their wedding this episode. Haley has been single for 7 years, and I just feel like she's gonna be real stubborn and not as flexible because of it. She said herself she don't want to change. Personally, I think she wants to get married because she's probably one of the only ones of her peers that's not married. But she looked really pretty in her dress or whatever, you know, your standard wedding look. Then we get to Jacob, and I totally understand why they call him weird now. Like, they were harping on the fact he was weird on the past couple of episodes, and I was like, well, he don't seem like he's that bad. No. I was like, is he a bot? Is he AI? Like, are they trying to integrate AI over here up under our noses? Because he is very stoic. Maybe it's because, you know, he works with computers all day. You know, he doesn't really have that much human interaction. I don't know, but he was just very, he's very, like, awkward. Even with his friends, like, they would just sit there and be looking at him to say something, and he'll let an awkward moment sit for a long time. And I'm like, are y'all really friends? It's like they had to make a conversation with him. They had to ask him questions. And I'm just like, is this another Henry? Because I was finna get upset. I was like, this better not be another Henry. I can't take it. All right. They had one of the driest first introductions I've ever seen on this show. It was low-key cringy, and it just seemed like it just got worse during the whole ceremony. He's standing there not giving her any sort of reassurance like she's trying to, like, reach out to him, make a little bit of small talk, like, we're up here smiling, and he's not really giving her much at all, just an emotionless smirk. And it's like, at least laugh when everybody else laughing, you know, make her feel a little comfortable. Like, it was awkward. And when he was reading his vows, he seemed like he was shaking so hard, and he lost his place at one point. I'm like, well, are you just nervous? I just didn't understand it. So he did all that awkward cringiness only to, when they say kiss the bride, he went for it. Like, he didn't hesitate. He didn't ask no questions. He went in for the kill. And so, hold that thought. We're going to talk about that later. But okay. Anyway, he told her that he eats steak and eggs every day. And she was just like, well, I'm not going to be eating that every day. I wouldn't be bothered by that because steak and eggs is easy to cook. I wouldn't be mad. I would make his little steak and eggs and I'll cook whatever I want to eat. That would be perfect. So they're both like daredevils and into skydiving. By the end of their first conversation, they didn't really have much chemistry. The conversation didn't really flow, and you could tell that she ain't really feeling him, you know? And you can't really read him at all because he's a robot. I need to know. Like, I'm gonna need to see some baby pictures. I'm not convinced. When they were talking together during the reception, she said she loves to travel to other countries. And he said he's traveled like many places within the country, but he just got his passport, so he's only been to Mexico. And why did that remind me of Henry? I'm like, please don't give us another Henry. I can't take it. Like, he's a little bit more progressed than Henry is, but he likes unique style houses. He loves to do renovations and DIY projects. His dad was a carpenter, so he has a hot tub, a pool, a beach, a sauna, and a full gym. And I'm just like, that's something else I wouldn't mind, because I ain't gotta go nowhere in a panty. We got everything in the backyard. I ain't gotta go to the gym. I got a pool right here, the beach. What more could you ask for? And then they both have dogs. She has a dog and he has dogs as well. So, you know what? They might just work out. Now, the thing that weirded me out, and I think it might have weirded Haley out as well, when they went to their hotel room and were settling in for the night, he had his shirt off getting into bed. Now, y'all are married, but usually on the first night, unless it's been established that y'all plan to do more, people get in there clothed. They don't get in the bed shirtless. And I was like, well, I hope he got pants on underneath there in the bed with no shirt on, and then turn over and be all like, if I was her, I would have been a little bit uncomfortable. So, do y'all feel like Haley and Jacob will make it to decision day? I feel like Haley will try to make it work at least until decision day, but in the long run, it just doesn't seem like it. Oh, child, let's move on to Chris and Paige. As I know so many Chris's from the church. Like, I know dudes just like him. They claim they want a good wife. They claim they want this and that. They have all these high expectations of what they want in a woman. And they claim to be, you know, a man of God, but they don't hold any of the Christian values. They don't have any of the characteristics of a good husband, but you want a good wife. Let's get on to what happened. So when he first saw Paige, he seemed to curse under his breath, and he had a huge smile on. At least he didn't, you know, physically react the way he felt inside. You know, I'd rather him spare her feelings in that moment, personally, because I just would hate for him to react terribly. It's crazy because we find out later on how he really felt, but his dad was very much attracted to Paige. And we'll get into that later as well. Meanwhile, she was like cheesing her face off. She was attracted to him, and it was just, I was like, poor Paige, she don't even know what's gonna happen. She don't even know what she's getting herself into. I feel like he doesn't have as much confidence as he portrays. Like, he seems like he's majorly insecure, but he puts on this false bravado to seem like he's the man or whatever. But I feel like he wasn't able to keep up that facade up at the altar, because he just was really fidgety and nervous. I thought it was crazy that his own family mentioned a honeymoon baby in their description of Chris. If I have to hear honeymoon baby one more time, that's an absurd notion to even be thinking about. When Chris read his vows, I'm like, how much I want to bet he didn't even write these vows? At least majority of them. I feel like the part he threw in there was probably like, you know, I'll give you room in my closet. I mean, they were beautiful vows, but he could barely get through without tripping up and without, he had to like read it word for word. And it's like, it don't seem like he actually wrote those. I could be wrong. When it was time to kiss the bride, like he questioned her like 3 or 4 times. You want to? You on the forehead, on the cheek, on the lips? It's like, boy, if you don't kiss this woman, y'all are married. I feel like unless the woman says, kiss me on the cheek, if y'all are at the altar, go ahead and kiss that woman on the lips. So once they walk out and they have their first conversation, she tells him that he is an accountant, and he said that's scary. And I was like, why are you scared? Is he saying that's scary because he's also in finance? So that's so weird that we, you know, are kind of in the same profession. Why are you nervous, Mr. Money Man? I didn't understand that. But he went on to say that he's an entrepreneur and he's the youngest black owner of a Subway. Well, he didn't say Subway, but we found out it's a Subway franchise, and he just closed on a house. He wants to flip houses, and you know that perfectly goes with her profession of being a realtor as well. So professionally, they're matched up perfectly. But then he brought up tattoos. And it's like, why would you bring up tattoos when you only have one tattoo, which is a cover-up of your ex's name that you were just with a few months ago, engaged to even. And this is when it really started to go downhill. Like, why are you bringing up your ex, especially the fact that you were just engaged a few months ago? I mean, he kept bringing his ex up, and it made me think he was purposefully trying to sabotage. And even though he wasn't saying it up front, at that point, I was like, oh, he must not be attracted to her. Because why would you say all of the things that he said, all these negative things? I mean, there's nothing wrong with being upfront with your partner, but this is literally y'all's first conversation, and you're telling her that you were just engaged a few months ago. And Paige still trying to have a positive outlook. She was like, well, you know, I'm not going to look at it as a red flag, just a yellow flag. I was like, Paige, he going to give you, first of all, that was a loud screaming, booming. That was an alarm sounding, a tornado warning. That was all that. Okay, girl. Beyond a yellow flag. That wasn't just a red flag. That was like 50. And he gonna give you about 50 more before this day is over. But once they had their conversation, Paige immediately went to her friends and was saying that she felt like he was disconnected with her during the vows, and because he didn't really look up during his vows. You know, the fact that he was just engaged, that's what's got you nervous right now. But she probably, you know, didn't want to tell her friends that already. I mean, they literally just got married. Meanwhile, his dad is over there in this tweed suit talking about how she got a nice shape. Now, how appropriate is that as a father-in-law to say that? We see where Chris gets it from. So while they were dancing, Chris was asking her very suggestive questions about whether, you know, she was a tomboy or is she a girly girl. It's like, how old are we? How old are we? And then when he sat down, he gave her a more heavy Lifetime movie network. I mean, I know we on Lifetime, but he don't have to drop all this heavy storyline on her at the wedding when y'all just met. He told the story of him being homeless for 4 months. I mean, I know y'all are married and you want to be as transparent as possible, but this, I just felt like it was so much. And then, okay, she asked about the engagement, and he was literally trying to play it off at first, like, it's a long story, you got time? I ain't got nothing but time, okay? We're married now. You need to let me know what's up. So basically, he said they didn't trust each other, and he said he had his friends on the side because he wasn't getting any attention. And that doesn't, how's that something to say to your new wife? You're telling her now that if you don't get the attention that you want, you're gonna get your little side chick. And then he had the nerve to say he doesn't have any baggage. Don't you realize you showed up with a 6-piece luggage set? We don't even have enough room for all of it in the car. We can't even carry it. Just because you don't have kids. Yeah, kids are not the only baggage anyone can have. He said he claims he used to have an ego. I scoff at that. Used to. And then immediately after that, he's going to ask if she's a virgin. And ask, does she have a high sex drive? And then ask, is she on any type of contraception? The questions that he asked literally only have to do with looks or intimacy. And we already see what he wants from Paige because he mentioned her butt so many times. Then after this terrible conversation, we get to the toast. And how about the daddy brought up grandchildren in the toast? Like in the toast, these people literally just met each other and got married. And he was bringing up grandchildren. I mean, that was just, first of all, that's uncomfortable even if they knew each other for 10 years. Ew. Second of all, get out of my ovaries. I just met this man. Even if I didn't, we will decide, not granddaddy. Ugh. Then she sat down with his daddy and he kept calling her beautiful, and it was just really uncomfortable. He was just coming off a little creepy, and he was coming off creepy, and he was basically telling her that she needs to keep him satisfied in the bedroom. He's gonna come home and he's gonna be exhausted, not realizing she also, is an accountant and a realtor. She can come home exhausted as well. What is he gonna do for her? Like I said, we see where Chris get it from. You could just tell that Chris mama and daddy, they just don't seem like they're together. I hope they're not together with him literally flirting with his daughter-in-law. So then we see Chris talking to her friends, and he literally told them he just got out of engagement a few months ago. Why? It's one thing to tell Paige. I still feel like it was too early to tell her, but you told her friends? What? That's the first impression you want to make with her friends? And he said he's used to dealing with a certain type of woman. Really, what he was saying, he's used to dealing with women with low standards that are easily impressed by men with money. And literally, that's all you have to have in order to impress these women. So he hasn't had to put work in with a woman because he doesn't really date women that value themselves. That's what I got from it. He never dated a boss like Paige. And then he said, she's the woman I need and not the woman I want. And he actually said this to her friends. Either he's very not self-aware of the way he comes off to other people, or he was literally trying to sabotage. I think he might be that egotistical that he thinks he can say whatever he wants to, and people should just be happy with it. Especially someone like Paige, who he doesn't find attractive, clearly. Because he said that he's not 100% attracted to her, and she's different than what he's used to, and she's beautiful in her own way, and they only match on paper, and marriage is more than just careers and money. I was really afraid of this. Like, that's what I was really afraid of last week, that he wasn't going to find her attractive, or she wasn't his type. Everybody's not going to be attracted to you. You know what I'm saying? I just get the feeling that the reason why he's not attracted to her is because she doesn't look like an Instagram model. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't doll herself up and wear the full face of makeup all the time, and the lashes and the name brand clothes. Because he even asked her about that. I think that's what the whole girly girl thing was about. He asked her, did she wear designer? And she doesn't really do that. And so he wants to put on this front for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So he needs a wife to match that image that he has in his head. And the image that he has in his head is like, you know, very flashy. And, you know, it just doesn't seem like Paige is that type. And so because she doesn't fit in that mold, he doesn't want to be, he's not attracted to her. The only thing that attracts him is the butt. And that's the main thing he was bragging about to his friends. So you reduced her down to a body part. One body part that you like because you don't like nothing else on her because she's beautiful in her own way. And, you know, that was his nice way. He was trying to, like, be nice and say that he wasn't attracted to her. But I feel like it was still rude. But you say all of this about how you're not attracted to her, but you like her conversation, and the more you talk to her, the more you're attracted. You're talking about how you're not that attracted to her, but then you want to still, like, you still talking about honeymoon baby or wanting to consummate your marriage. See, that's the kind of fake mess that I'm talking about. And I'm conflicted about it because you are married. So, you know, that is your husband. I mean, that is your wife. So you should want to consummate the marriage. But it just seems like at the end of the day, he would be using her because you said you're not attracted to her. So why would you want to sleep with her? At least get to know her and see if y'all can build an attraction to one another. I mean, she's already attracted to him. She said it. I hate it. I hate that she's attracted to him and he's not attracted to her. But at least wait until you can see if y'all do. You're just willing to sleep with her willy-nilly and disregard her feelings and how she might grow attached to you, and it's like nothing for you. I don't like him. He should have never been casted. I feel like they went too far this time by mismatching someone or choosing someone that was not ready to be married, someone who was just engaged a few months ago. And now from the previews, we see that he has a baby on the way. Like, if I'm not mistaken, that's what the preview said. Like, he's gonna step up and take care of his child. So I don't feel like Paige is pregnant. She might be. They made it seem like she was going to get pregnant. It seems like possibly his ex might be pregnant because they were together just a few short months ago. And so I wonder how this is going to play a role in things. I mean, I'm speculating, obviously. If y'all already know, please don't leave spoilers down below. This is just me speculating based off the preview. Also, you never know, Paige could get pregnant during this experiment. I really hope she doesn't, because I don't want her to be connected to him for the rest of her life. If she can get away, I want her to run as fast as she can, as soon as she can. Say no. Leave him before the experiment is even over. Like, please. And I also saw on Pastor Cal's page that a lot of people were like going in on him, and dang, they're on my phone, but I'll put some of them up. And basically, you know, he was just, you know, taking the blame and saying that, you know, sometimes people act different behind the scenes than they do in front of the scenes. And child, like I said, I feel like they're just the sacrificial lambs because they're the ones on screen, but I feel like there are people behind the scenes that were actually coming up with this sinister plan to have good ratings. Anyway, y'all let me know, do y'all think Paige and Chris will make it to decision day? Low-key, in my heart, I feel like they will. And I feel like it's because Paige feels like this is her who God sent her. And I hate that she feels that way. Anyways, you guys, let me know your opinions down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Let me know how y'all feel about Chris being casted. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.